So for the first exercise here, crocodile breathing, you're going to be laying on your stomach. While you're laying on your stomach, you're going to be taking big breaths in through your nose. And while you're doing that, you're trying to fill up your stomach and lower back with as much air as possible. You should feel a lot of decrease in pressure around that lower back region. Now, when you actually watch me doing this, you should actually see my lower back rising up with each breath. So as you breathe into your stomach, you should feel that pressure push up into the lower back, and you're going to fill that area up with air. Now this next exercise here, this is a wide stance bird dog. We're just going to do arms only here. So your knees are going to be outside of your hips, so wider than your hips. You're going to brace your abs as hard as you can because you don't want any shifting of weight per side. And you're going to slowly reach one arm up in the air over your head. And as you do that, you want to resist that movement of you shifting side to side. So you should be bracing pretty hard here. Now this next one here, this is a reverse plank hold. I have my upper back on the bench and my feet on another bench, and I'm bridging up. I'm squeezing my glutes and my lower back as hard as I can. I'm bracing my abs. I'm trying to crunch my rib cage down. I have a weight over my head to really try to resist that extension. And as I'm doing that, I'm taking a big breath in through my nose and out through my mouth. I'm trying to have a forceful exhale to try to contract the abs a little harder each time. Following up with that, we're going to go into rolling out the arches. You have a lacrosse ball, and you're just going to try to roll out your feet and get in there as deep as you possibly can. You're trying to crush your arches and put as much pressure as possible on those arches. Notice how I have my toes rolled over the ball there, so my toes aren't lifting up, they're actually curled over. All right, so following up on that, rolling out the arches, we're gonna roll out the glute med. So this is like upper glute area and kind of off to the side. You're almost gonna set up like you're gonna do a side plank, so your elbow's on the ground there. And you're just making small movements here. So this is like really like the upper glute area. Very small movements. Sometimes I like to just stick on one spot, and when you hit the spot, you're really gonna feel it. It should pop out at you. It's a pretty tender muscle overall, especially if you do have low back pain or stiffness. So try to find a tender spot and spend as much time there and try to get the glute to relax. All right, next one here is the seated parafemoral stretch. You're gonna sit on a bench or a box anywhere between the 18 to 20 inches. You're gonna sit nice and upright. You're gonna put your ankle over your knee. The goal here is to try to get your shin parallel with the ground. As you can see, mine's a little elevated there, but you also want to get yourself as upright as possible, like a straight back, and then you're gonna slowly start to lean forward. But when you lean forward, make sure you're not rounding at the spine. You want to try to keep your spine as neutral as possible as you lean forward. If you can't maintain that neutral spine position, just stay upright and focus on trying to get your shin parallel to the ground. All right, so next up here is a banded Bulgarian hold. You're gonna take a thick band, you're gonna put that right on the upper glute area there. You're gonna bring it up to like the bottom of your butt cheek there. And then you're gonna reach back with that same leg, put it on the bench. So from here, we're just we have the knee resting on the pad. Your abs are gonna be tight. You're actually trying to contract the glute of the side that you're stretching here, okay? So as you're flexing your abs, so like this example, it's the left side, I'm flexing my abs and I'm trying to contract my left glute. All right, so this is the T-spine rotations. You're in an all-fours position. You're gonna sit back towards your heels. Your toes are bending, you have your whole hand behind your head and you're rotating up like you're trying to point your elbow up at the ceiling, and then you're going to bring it back down to your opposite knee. So again, whole hand behind the head, try to point the elbow at the ceiling, and then you're going to bring the elbow back to your opposite knee. Okay, so this is the toes elevated kettlebell. Good morning. You're gonna have your toes elevated on a calf wedge or a mat or even a plate. You have a kettlebell behind your head and you're on your upper back. You're gonna bend your knees slightly and you're trying to push your butt back as far as you can. If you don't have the mobility for this, you can remove the calf wedge, or you can actually decrease the weight if you're feeling any sort of pain or stiffness in this position. So this is the Lat Hang here. This is a great way to decompress the spine. All you're gonna do is grab onto a pull-up bar and you're just gonna hang. You're gonna keep your abs tight and then you're just gonna hang and kind of let that whole spine decompress. All right, so this is the hip circle goblet squat with a 6-second eccentric. You're holding that weight in that goblet position. You're trying to push up against that hip circle, push your knees out, and as you descend down, you're trying to go as slowly as possible, where it's gonna take 6 seconds to get down to the bottom position, and then you're gonna come up. Okay, so here's the kettlebell suitcase carry. You got one weight off to the side. You're gonna try to push that weight away from your thigh, and I want you to walk as if you're walking on a tightrope. You're gonna have to brace your abs pretty hard here to resist that movement of leaning off to one side. Again, walking like you're on a tightrope, bracing your abs nice and hard. Usually use a lighter load here. Don't try to be a hero. Anywhere between 25 and 40 pounds is perfect. All right, lastly, here's a walking lunge. You're gonna take a step forward, absorb that weight, and I want you to try to gently tap your knee to the floor. So you're gonna step forward, decelerate yourself, nice and controlled. It's okay to let your knee go past your toe or towards your toe. We actually want that, and we just want nice absorption of force here from side to side.